Hello everyone, my name is Mrs. Meninger and I teach 3rd grade. This year I was suggesting to the kids that since they hadn't done a song before that we do a song, and like the other play before that got vetoed right away. They came up with a fantastic idea for a play, so we did some extra research and we've got some fun facts in this play today. It's called History Comes Alive and you'll be able to see what we mean very shortly, so we hope you enjoy.
Our story begins in a classroom full of very intelligent students.
Okay, class, would everybody open your history books? We're going to learn about some very important events that happened in the world long ago.
Mrs. Minster, why do we have to learn about this stuff?
Yeah, it happened so long ago. It's not like it's going to affect our lives.
And it's so boring. All right, class, settle down. Macy, would you please begin reading at the top of page 15?
Chapter 1, The Last Supper. When the hour came, he took his place at the table with the apostles. He said to, all of a sudden, without warning, something strange began to happen. The students were spinning, the lights were flickering, and then darkness, and everything was still.
Where are we? What just happened?
Did we just live through an earthquake? The students grow quiet as they hear something going on behind them.
I have eagerly desired to eat this Passover with you before our supper, for I tell you I shall eat this until there is fulfillment in the kingdom of God.
I know we are at the Last Supper, but how could this be?
Shh, just listen.
Then Jesus took the cup, gave thanks, and said,
This is my blood which will be given for you. Or should
Then he took the bread, sort of blessing, broke it, and gave it to them, saying,
This is my body which will be given for you. Do this in memory of me.
Jesus also went on,
And yet behold of the hand of the one who is betraying me is with me at this table.
Is it me? It couldn't be me. Is it me?
As the argument broke out, the lights began to flicker, and the students started spinning. Later in the story,
Judas deeply regretted what he had done and tried to return the 30 pieces of silver.
Wow, this seems so real.
Yeah!
That's great. I'm so glad you're enjoying history. That story's very important. But let's move into some things a little more recent. Ellie, would you please begin reading at the top of page 38?
Chapter 5. Christopher Columbus sails to the New World. Christopher Columbus wanted to find a faster, more profitable trade route with Asia. He asked Spain's King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella for money and ships for his voyage, but for many years they refused. Finally, he told them he would go to France and ask the French king for help. And King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella gave him what he needed for the...
and as Ellie was reading, the lights began to flash. And the students were transformed back out of the Santa Maria with Captain Columbus. The year was 1492. The 3 ships headed west across the Atlantic Ocean.
It happened again!
I think I'm going to be seasick.
What's going on over there?
We haven't seen land for a long time.
We should turn around and go back home.
It's too dangerous. If we don't find land, there's going to be a new...
Yeah!
Okay, man, I hear ya. If we don't see land in the next 3 days, we'll turn around and go back.
A few days pass. Next thing the students knew, the lights began to flash. And they were back in their classroom.
Christopher Columbus and his crew landed on San Salvador in the Bahamas. They met many friendly natives, did more exploring, and then headed back to Europe.
Wow, history is really coming to life today, Miss Munster.
Yeah!
It's so real.
I feel like I was there.
That's the attitude. Now let's jump right back in. Jake, would you please begin reading at the top of page 63?
The Declaration of Independence. Soon after the beginning of the American Revolutionary War, a few men gathered together to write a letter to the King of England to explain why they were fighting to be their own country, independent from England. Thomas Jefferson began writing the first draft of the Declaration, and then some other men made a few revisions to it. On the 4th of July, 1776, the delegates met in the Pennsylvania State House.
That building is now known as Independence Hall.
That's correct.
So on the 4th of July, 1776, the delegates met too.
And once again, the lights began to flash. And the students were standing in a room full of men.
We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
All who approve this declaration say aye.
Aye!
All who oppose this declaration, based on the unanimous vote, the Declaration of Independence has been approved.
As the Declaration of Independence was being signed, the lights began to flicker. And the students were quickly transformed back into their seats in the classrooms. Now the students had many questions.
Ooh, how many people signed the Declaration of Independence?
Well, 56 rich white men signed it.
Who was the youngest person to sign it?
That was Edward Rutledge. He was 26 at the time.
Who was the oldest person to sign it?
That was Benjamin Franklin. He was 70 years old at the time. And where has all this interest come from in history?
Well, the students let their teacher in on the secret, and they thought maybe if she read the next chapter, she'd be transformed too. So she gave it a try.
Chapter 10, Harriet Tubman and the Underground Railroad. The Underground Railroad wasn't a railroad at all. It was more of a route in which people called conductors would lead slaves to the northern states of Canada to be free. Harriet Tubman was a woman with tremendous courage. Although she was unable to read or write, she made 19 trips back to the southern states to help free over 300 slaves. As the conductors and slaves would walk through darkness, they would look for.
And wouldn't you know it, the lights began to flicker. And even Miss Spencer began to spin. Until there was darkness.
Ouch, my toe!
Quickly now, I see the light in the window. Let's go.
Come in without a sound. Go down below and we will get you some hot food.
The slaves waited down below the floor until nighttime, a time when it was safe for them to move to the next station. Then, without a sound, they crept out in the darkness but at that moment, the lights began to flicker for the last time. In Miss Minster, her students were back in their classroom.
That was incredible! We were actually traveling along the Underground Railroad. Has that been happening all day? Yeah! So you went to the Last Supper, sailed on the Santa Maria with Christopher Columbus, saw the Declaration of Independence being approved, and traveled along the Underground Railroad all in one day? Yep. Well, I guess history really did come alive today. Class dismissed. Aww.